Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Well, that was certainly a game, folks. Welcome to Game Over Calgary, and you get the rare triple box from us here today because I am stuck in the middle of a couple of
Warning,
Unnithans. And I got Anand, who you know, on, I think, my right, yeah, and Arjun, the other Unnithan brother. I don't know how you guys both are in the same family and both cheer for the opposite sides of the province, but one Unnithan a little bit happier than the other with the results. I'll let you guys kind of determine who wants to go first.
We'll let the winner go first, and let Arjun go first. Wrap his thoughts on it.
Hello, everyone. So, yeah, it was such a fun Battle of Alberta. As always, both teams bring it to each other, and the summary is 5 to 1 in favor of Edmonds and Oilers. And Draisaitl scores an hat trick. What It's the best way to bring up his hat trick just before the Christmas holidays, and he will continue and come back after the Christmas break again against the Calgary Flames.
Yeah, you know, I should be happier with that considering my whole fantasy draft. I got second in the Game Over fantasy draft this year, and I did pick Leon Draisaitl second overall. And hey, he's finally actually scoring after not scoring. Was it 9 games since he had scored his
Yes, he
previous
was
game?
actually did not score in 9 games, and it was really good to see him getting off the schneid and 3 goals in 1 game, and that's that's one way to summarize who is Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah, I had Leon Draisaitl and William Nylander, so the last few weeks have been brutal for my fantasy roster. Good to see that at least some of them have started to score. Anand, our side of this battle. Uh, wow, that was real bad. I think that's the only
Yeah,
way we can put it.
yeah, I was hoping for a win because I know we won the high draft pick, we won the kind of thing, but it's ethical or emotionally correct for us to win against the Edmonton Oilers, and not the effort I thought we would get, especially after seeing penalties back and forth here and there. And Drysaddle and McDavid running the show tonight, I said, okay, yeah, this is where now the Flames need at least high end talent now moving forward. But I
What
wish we got the win tonight.
what do you mean? Nazem Kadri isn't the only thing the Calgary Flames need. We need more Nazem Kadris. I think we've heard a few times
No,
this
we
season.
no, we don't need more of him. No thanks.
Oh, especially not the Nazem Kadri we saw tonight. Like as I told Anand, I had to turn off the television broadcast after the second period, and I just had to listen to the radio broadcast. And Derek Wills said something that is very apt about Nazem Kadri today. You don't often see Nazem Kadri's B game, and this wasn't even that today. I think you could say that for a lot of Calgary Flames, but I think Nazem Kadri will wear that hat for me tonight. But let's get into our recap. Um, and it started off on an inauspicious note. Because Dustin Wolf, if you can say there's one strength of his game as a Calgary Flames fan, it is generally his rebound control. You don't often see that rebound come right out in front of Dustin Wolf. It does here, and Ryan Nugent Hopkins loves playing against the Flames, has 20 goals in his career against them now. Made no mistake off the rebound off. I'm not going to call it a boosh bomb because it was a wrister from the point. It's not the big slapper that most Oilers fans know that Evan Bouchard has, but good enough to get the rebound, good enough to get the goal. What were your thoughts, Arjun?
Yeah, exactly the same point as you. I don't think he was trying to do that one timer Evan Busha typical boost bomb. I feel like it was that kind of pass that needed to get off the pad and get a juicy rebound, and that is exactly what happened. And then News was right in front of the net as he always have been, and then he gets a juicy rebound, and then he just finds the back of the net.
Yeah, and I know the guys over at Barnburner were talking about how Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has played in front of 26 goaltenders. I think about 20 of them would have put that rebound out. But it's not something we expect as Flames fans to see Dustin Wolf from. And I actually thought Dustin Wolf bounced back pretty well from this. Because you could see that he was visibly frustrated, and that's not something we're used to seeing from Dustin Wolf. Because I think he holds himself to a higher standard than what was there. Are you in agreement on that? On my synopsis, that Anand?
Yeah, I agree. Especially that Wolf. Um, if he would have held maybe that one save and kept it in, it wouldn't have been that deterrence for Flames the way they played rest of the game. Usually you trust Wolf with all the rebounds, but somehow this one came loose, and then the Oilers capitalized.
Yeah, and then we'll go to the one bright spot for the Calgary Flames that this game produced. And hey, in soccer, we'd call this one an own goal. But in hockey, nope, this isn't an own goal. It is Mackenzie Weegar getting the goal, bouncing it off the chest of the man who has the most egg-shaped head in the world, Darnell Nurse. And I have to say, a lot of this goal is produced because of Connor Zary. His body positioning forced Nurse to carry his momentum into that area in front of the net and have it bounce off of him. But I actually think Connor Zary has been one of the better Flames of late. Whether that was the game against Vegas that you did the last game, or the last little stretch of the Flames homestand that kind of goes over this Christmas break. I thought he's been very good. And I know that a lot of people have been saying the Flames can only have one line that's good at a time right now this season, it seems. Whether that was the Coronado line for about a string of 2 weeks. It's now the Backlund line that's the hot line for the Flames, and they at least produced a goal today.
Yeah, I thought especially that shot from Vigar when it hit Donald Nurse's chest and he went in. I thought, okay, Vigar is gonna have a good game. This is gonna be his best game. Then all of a sudden, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, and the Flames nearly get out of the period 1-1. And I think if this game gets into the second 1-1, you maybe see the Flames be able to wrestle this game back. But they take a penalty late, and the Oilers are just so incredibly talented on the man advantage. Like, Connor McDavid leads the leagues in power play points. Guess who's number 2? It's Leon Draisaitl. Zach Hyman looks finally healthy after his injury of last season. Hyman finds a wide open Draisaitl, and that 3 players all get the points. Draisaitl from Hyman and McDavid. I don't think I'm breaking or shattering anyone's worldview. You can't take as many penalties against this Oilers team as the Flames did and expect to be successful. Arjun, what does this mean as an Oilers fan to finally see Leon score after 9 games?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was also so happy for him. Like, we are not used to a Draisaitl who doesn't score in like 9 games. The maximum drought he has been is like 3 games, and then 9 games is just too long. And then, as a Oilers fan, I was super pumped and super happy for him. And also, weekends, I saw the bench at that time. They were just happy for him as well. So it's just all around good vibes for everybody. And also, as you mentioned, Edmonton Oilers power play. They're the first in the league right now, and then that just shows like McDavid passing the puck around and then finding McDavid and just, I mean, finding Draisaitl and just scoring. So that, yeah.
Shout out to little Uzi Burt in the chat. We'll talk about that event you got to a little bit later for a lot of this show, I think. Just had to shout him out for joining us. But that goes to the second period, and the second period is where things got a little bit out of hand. And it didn't take long for the Oilers to strike again. It was a power play going to work once again. Matt Coronado holds the stick of Roslovic, gives the Oilers early power play. And once again, it's Connor finding Leon, and Evan Bouchard gets a secondary assist. The Flames looked utterly lost on the penalty kill today. Would you agree, Anand? Because this is a group that has been very good. They're in the top third of the league going into today. But you are also not facing the Oilers' power play every game.
Yeah, Oilers power play is one lethal one. And I think we should learn the lesson by now, or should have learned the lesson like last year. Don't give the Oilers a power play chance at all. Uh, and especially with the roster you have for the Flames, your power play is not going to work at most important every game. So limit those penalties and be disciplined as much as you can.
And, like, no offense to Rasmus Andersson. He is a better NHL defenseman than I am a commentator of sports. But no offense to him, why are you coming out to cover Jack Roslovic as Leon Draisaitl's walking in from the slot? Like, I will take my chances having Dustin Wolf get lateral to the Roslovic shot rather than squaring up to Leon walking in alone. I don't think I'm crazy for saying that. And I don't think
Yeah, I
either of
don't
you are
think
going to
you're.
disagree.
Yeah, I don't think you're crazy to think that way, especially if you know a person who has a great shot, great mentality, and great power within his stick, then you should be thinking about covering that person first. So in this case, Leon Draisaitl, then go for a Jack Roslovic because Draisaitl is more lethal than Roslovic.
Yeah. And then just more unlucky stuff for the Flames. Oh, actually, no. Before we get to that goal, let's talk about the penalty a little bit, shall we? So there was a lot of confusion by Flames fans on Twitter, namely Ryan Pike, and like usually Ryan's pretty bang on about this. And so we initially talked about how the game misconduct penalty fell under a fun little rule. Oh, I get to go deep diving in the NHL rulebook. This is fun for me. Rule 75.5, game misconduct penalty. Game misconduct penalties shall be assessed under this rule for the following infraction. So I won't give you everything. There's a bunch of little points and pips about this rule. But it will be assessed if a player persists in any course of conduct for which he has previously been assessed a misconduct penalty. So let's go back to the whole lead up to this. Rasmus gets the initial penalty for, or Uyghur rather, that's Mackenzie Uyghur, gets the unsportsmanlike for slashing away Darnell Nurse's stick. And yeah, I think you probably, if you're Darnell Nurse, probably didn't have the tightest grip on the stick to begin with, but was a pretty big hack from Uyghur. Uyghur, yeah, he taps on the glass. Good job, ref, you really did it. So he did it once, gets another whistle, gets another infraction. That was the 10-minute misconduct. And he says, oh, good for you, does it again. That's when it falls under that repeat category. It's just like suspensions. If you're a repeat offender, it keeps going up. So that showed the door for Mackenzie Uyghur. And that leaves the Calgary Flames with 2 rookies. And then 3 other guys. One of which is Joel Hanley, who you don't want to play more than 10 minutes a night. And Rasmus Andersson was not on his best behavior for the rest of the night. And Kevin Ball then right after this goes and fights. So we saw a lot of 2 really young defensemen for the Flames tonight facing off against the offensive firepower that was the Oilers from this point on. We saw 1 really good play from Brustevich later in the game, but that's a lot to ask of 2 young defensemen moving forward. Now we'll go to the 4th goal. Zach Hyman gets his 10th of the year, assists to Connor McDavid, and just the unluckiest play for Rasmus Andersson has the stick break when he's trying to push the puck in deep. And then you have Hyman just playing give and go with Connor McDavid around Joel Hanley, who is not an NHL defenseman, or is not an everyday NHL defenseman, and boy did he look slow, even compared to Zach Hyman on this play. Like, didn't get down to cover the pass, didn't cover the shot, just was a giant pylon, even though we aren't the team that dresses like them for a third of the year.
Yeah, bad 2-on-1 play on that one. And Zach Hammond finds it back of the net. Once again, I liked Jan Kuznetsov a bit today, a bit of Brucevic, but like you said, Conrad, little too much to ask for rookies who haven't played this much minutes, and especially I think it's both of their first time Battle of Alberta as well, so they're not in and ready for the type of contest yet. And if Viger or Anderson could have kept a little bit more calm or cool, uh, I know it's all about intensity when it comes to Battle of Alberta, but realizing that you have more rookies this time around in the lineup, maybe teaching them the ropes of how to play against the Oilers would have been great. But with them, uh, what do you call it, don't have the veterans right behind them, especially maybe just a Viger or Anderson even, that's kind of putting the dart into the nail.
Yep, so let's head to the third period. Another power play, and Leon Draisaitl gets his hat trick. The hats fly. More assists for Hyman and McDavid. As Kevin Ball this time gets victimized, not knowing where number 29 is on the ice. Obviously, he just covered the McDavid rush. And it was a good pass by Zach Hyman to get it over to Dry. And what was your thoughts seeing this one, Arjun? Like, was this just kind of, this is the game we've expected out of the Oilers after admittedly a slow-ish start for the team, and especially in a team that doesn't have their freshly acquired starting goaltender for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is like a much needed game for the Edmonton Oilers. Also, one thing I will add is that the jersey. Like any other jersey the Oilers wear, I don't know if they will get the win, but I feel like this jersey has generally helped the Oilers with their offense. Like if you watch the previous three games, the offense has been more and the defensive game has been more. So I feel like the jersey also helps a little bit in my take. But also, yes, this is a game that I have also been looking forward for, and on 27th as well for the Battle of Alberta again.
So it was, as you say, the cream-colored jersey. As I said, I could have bought this jersey back in 1999 at Canadian Tire. That's what I think of this cream jersey. But it is kind of the good luck charm, just like the Flames and apparently Blasty, which I think they've now put in storage and said, we'll save these for when we can put a 72 on the back of them. So, I don't know. As Tokay, or rather Little Uzi Burt said in chat, Team Tank got the early Christmas gift tonight. Yeah, I think even Team Tank wants to win the Battle of Alberta. But
Yeah,
that's
I
your
think Team Tank or even Team Rebel was on hold for tonight, just because it's the Edmonton Oilers. But yeah, on a games like this, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, uh, emotionally right, the Flames should win this one. But yeah, we'll set aside the tank for Saturday as well again. We'll hopefully see a better outing. Then after that, we'll go back to Team Rebel. So yeah.
if I'm awake to watch that game. Jeez, that's that 27th is a tough one for us. But yeah, that's your recap. Oilers 5, Flames 1. They win round 2 of the Battle of Alberta. Reminder, that brings the season series to 1 game apiece. Couple other stats before we move all the way on. The Flames were drastically outshot after doubling up the last two opponents. They barely managed 20 shots in this game. It looked more like a Daryl Sutter coached Calgary Flames team. Final shots, 19 for the Flames, 39 for the Oilers. The one place where we really harp on this show, the Flames needed to be better. They actually won at today. They were 30 of 53 in the face-off dot, which leads to a 56.6%. Oilers winning the remaining 43.4%. Flames unable to do anything with their 4 power play attempts. That we will talk about later. Oilers go 3 for 5, operating into 60% clip when they're up a man on the ice. I am not shocked. However, total penalty minutes for the game. The Calgary Flames come away with 89 penalty minutes, a little bit inflated by the fact that they gave everyone a 10-minute misconduct at the end of the game. Oilers walk away with 65. Flames dominate in hits, 27-14. Oilers blocked a ton of shots. Obviously, that leads to the Flames' shot numbers being lower. Flames gave the puck away 21 times to the Oilers 15, and they were even at 5 on the takeaways. But hey, if you like this channel and you like watching absolutely terrible Calgary Flames hockey more often than not, why don't you go down and hit that like button? I know, I'm selling this channel so well. Me and Anand are going to try and be here as often as we can. If you don't follow us on Blue Sky, you might not have caught this. This may be the last Game Over Calgary for the year of 2025. For those of you who don't know what goes on in the hockey scene in Calgary around after Christmas, obviously we're talking about the World Juniors. We're going and working the World Juniors down in the States, right, Anand? No, we're talking about the Circle K Classic. Me and Anand both will be working the microphones for that tournament. And with that being 3 games a day, we don't necessarily have a ton of energy to come and do the game overs, even though we do really appreciate you guys. We will see. Maybe we get one in. I don't think we'll be doing the Battle of Alberta for the rematch, as that is the first day of this big U18 tournament. So we'll see. We'll figure that out between the two of us, see how we're both feeling, see how our vocal cords are doing. I do a few more games than Anand does, but that's just because I've been there for longer with the tournament. But we'll see for the rest of 2025. If not, hey, I've talked about maybe doing just a recap of what went on. We'll figure it out. But go hit like, go hit subscribe. It does lots for us in the current state of the internet, everything being algorithmically driven. All right, period number 2. We talked about why the ejection happened. We talked about the rule, 75.5. That is the softest ejection I've seen out of a set of NHL referees. If somebody tapping their stick on the boards outside of the penalty box is worthy of a game misconduct, how do we play this sport? Anand and I have been around hockey at the junior level. If you heard half of the things that we hear from the press box that go on in a hockey game, we wouldn't get through games without players being ejected in every single game. And like, I had the Scouting the Refs page up here. Let me pull that back up, because this was not a super veteran crew. But it's 2 guys that played the game. It is 2 guys that both played at the AHL level. So you'd think they would understand a rivalry game, things will get heated. And as much as you have to manage the game, you have to also allow it to happen. And throwing out Mackenzie Weegar for tapping on the glass, like, I know there are F-bombs or whatever language you've heard on hot mics by accident that are so much worse. And for Cody Beach and Gord Dwyer, as I said, guys that played to the AHL level. Gord Dwyer, hey, he played over in Europe too. Cody decided he's going to call a career early and change to putting on the stripes. It's pretty soft. What are your guys' thoughts? I'll start with you, Arjun. Like, as obviously it benefited you not having Mackenzie Weegar in the game.
Absolutely, like Mackenzie Weegar can get under the skin of players, and it was really good not to have in the game. But as you said, I feel like that was kind of silly from the refs because I mean, if Mackenzie Weegar was doing something else, like just irritating the refs, then yeah, fine. But I feel like this was kind of soft, easy on the refs, so like ref was already irritated from like absolutely, like from Battle of Alberta, obviously refs will have a tough night. And then I guess he was already having a tough night already. So I feel like it was a silly call, but it was good for us. No Mackenzie Weegar. So yeah, it
Yeah,
was really good help for us.
a little Christmas present from the Flames to the Oilers there.
Exactly, of course.
Anand, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the point. Like we have seen the worst stuff in junior hockey, like how parents get riled up, how players get riled up all together, and sometimes you waste maybe 10-15 minutes sorting out all this stuff, and there are a lot of delays. I think this one was just maybe a bit of stick taps. It's totally fine. It wasn't too egregious either, like it wasn't directed to anybody. Nobody got hurt or anything either. So I think it was a little too much. But yeah, I agree. We have seen way worse, and I don't think it should have been a whole game misconduct thing. Maybe 10 was fine.
Yeah, so apparently because I turned off the game, we got something. Actually, I'll hold that point for later. I apologize. But like when even Bob Stauffer is questioning what went on, like, and Bob's a veteran. Like, as much as I hate having the fact that we only had the Oilers commentating on this, like Bob Stauffer has done a lot of really bad Oilers hockey. Like he did the Decade of Darkness. He knows this game. For him to be wondering what the heck that penalty was, I don't know. But hey, it is what it is. Um, but to talk about the penalties in general, we have to look at all of the Flames' defensemen tonight because it was a relatively interesting and big shout out to the guys over at Matchsticks and Gasoline. I think we both know somebody who does some writing for them, Anand. The guy Mackenzie Grafton from the Canucks. He writes for those guys.
No, here it's for win column, not
Oh no,
Mastics and
you are
Gas.
correct. He used to do some stuff for Matchsticks. You are correct. You are right. I am wrong. But so shout out to the guys over at Matchsticks and Gasoline. Kevin Ball, 5 minutes for fighting. Rasmus Anderson, 2 minors, the slash and the trip. Yank Kuznetsov, the 10-minute misconduct when they were all kind of wrestling at the end of the game. 22 minutes in penalties for Mackenzie Weegar for the unsportsmanlike, the 10-minute, and the game. Joel Hanley had a trip and a misconduct at the end. Hunter Brustevich, 0 penalty minutes. What a good young kid out of out of Detroit, Michigan via Kitchener, Ontario. And what else did I want to talk about here?
Yeah, maybe like he's too young, or I mean, he's still learning the ropes of getting being part of the penalty minutes, especially in this type of matches. So I'll give him the benefit of doubt that way. But everybody else has had their fair, or maybe Jan Kuznetsov, he wanted to get in, but apart from those, everybody else has had the fair share of Battle of Albertas.
Yep. I think that's about all we can say for this period. Let's head on into the third period. And if you're tired of listening to us talk about Calgary penalties, you probably don't want to hear this. But Andrew Berkshire's kind of doing some sniffing around penalties and the Montreal Canadiens, when they're taking it and how they're being assessed. He actually posted a large article about this over on Game Over, and on Locked On Canadians as well, who is a partner of our network. Go and give it a read because it's very interesting. And even if you're not reading it just strictly to talk about Montreal, because you're from Alberta and a lot of Albertans don't like remembering that the French part of Canada exists, Look into it because I do think it kind of mirrors how I feel about the Flames and when we take these penalties and when penalties are assessed. Go and give it a look, give it a scan. Andrew's done some amazing work there. And hey,
Yeah, those graphics were brilliant to look at.
yeah, it's doing a great job.
I
Unless it
haven't
read
given it
colorblind.
fully. Sorry. Yeah, I haven't dive into it fully, but those graphics, especially with those numbers and the typo penalties that the Game Over Montreal takes, it's fascinating to see.
Yeah, all right. So let's. Did I do the graphic? I did. Let's move into the third period. The special teams battle. The Oilers are going to win that 10 times out of 10 and twice on Sunday against most teams. Arjun, you agree. Great power play for the Oilers. Anand, you agree. Great power play for the Oilers.
Yeah, always.
Holy, did our penalty kill look terrible today. And yes, we didn't have one of our best defensemen for half of it. But I don't know. Kevin Ball looked terrible. Looked like he was the slowest player on the ice. Rasmus Anderson, as I said, not having a full view of the ice. Like, am I overreacting to say that might have been the Flames or one of the Oilers' better power plays on the season? Arjun, I'll let you take that after. But also for Anand, one of the worst Flames power plays we've seen in a while. Arjun, I'll let you talk wax poetic about the power play that you get to watch and cheer for.
I mean, I feel like this was really what actually Oilers power play is, just like moving the puck around. So, alright, so when McDavid has the puck, he has three main options. It's either find Bouchard for one timer, push bomb, or find Hyman back of the net, or one pass to King Leon Draisaitl for the one timer. So that are the three basic ways you can score on Oilers power play, and I feel like McDavid tried all those three tonight, and which one that found the back of the net was like Draisaitl one timer that happened two times. So I feel like this was basically a typical power play to watch, but I feel like this one had more energy compared to others because this is a Battle of Alberta. McDavid, Draisaitl, and also Flames bring their best. So it just creates more anticipation amongst the teams, and I feel like Oilers' power play was a notch higher compared to regular power plays in other games.
I had to pull my mic closer to my face to get this effect. But are you saying that guys you drafted high in the draft put points on the board? Looking at you, Don Maloney.
Yeah, let me hit on the worst power play for the Flames now, Conrad. I know what exactly the comment you're talking about, but the I'm going to go back to that. I think it was last week on a Thursday or something, or even Monday maybe. One of those 2 days when the Flames played the Seattle Kraken, they went 0 for 4 on the power play. If they hadn't scored that one monumental goal against the Seattle Kraken when it was 2-1, and they just scored 1 out of 5, I said to I think it was my CG92. I work, for those who don't know, I work part time at CG92 street team as well. And I told my radio host, if the Flames don't score on a power play in this game, it's going to be worse for turn because it was just a 2-1 game. The Seattle could have easily fought back. And of course, Seattle is mightily struggling. And if you can't score a power play goal, and yeah, whenever you need I think Conrad, I told you during the game, there are some power plays you see that the Flames score when it's not needed, like when we don't need the win, but then the some power plays don't score when we need the win, kind of thing. And I think that's what we see, like whenever we need it the most, we don't see it happen. Whenever we don't need it, we see it happen. Oh, here we go, the power play score, that was magic. So yeah, I don't know, it was a struggling power play to watch tonight.
Yeah, and the penalty kill was struggling, and I almost feel like I remember when it was just Audie and Peter doing Game Over Calgary back on some other network. They kind of poked at the Flames' power play actually losing momentum for them, and they called it the power kill. I feel we almost need to go back to that. Like, the Flames are operating, what was it, at 14% going into today? Like, the fact that we're 30th, thank God they added 2 more teams to this league so we're not at the bottom. Like, it's at that point. And we keep talking about, oh, the Flames have changed their personnel. Okay, you put in Adam Klapka, a 6'8" fourth liner in front of the net instead of Morgan Frost. Changed. And they immediately swapped it back because it didn't change diddly. Man, this is a different game if the Flames don't have Dustin Wolf. Like, if this was... Let's go back. If this was Chad Johnson in net for the Calgary Flames, if this was Rado Berra, this game's an 8-9 goal game for the Oilers. Like, obviously Dustin Wolf's stats are going to look bad after this game. But I don't think if you watched this game and used analytics, I don't think there's any way you say Dustin Wolf was a bad goaltender in today's game.
Yeah, maybe he would love to have that first goal back where he let go of the rebound and then have it back. But apart from that, he was stellar. Like those split saves he made, robbed Henrik a couple of times. Yeah, Dustin Wolf definitely had a like he was one of the best player on the ice. But yeah, like you said, unfortunately his numbers will look bad tonight.
And, like, let's look down at the other end of the ice. How do the Calgary Flames only fire 19 shots on a guy who was in the AHL 10 days ago with no future in the NHL? Like, Arjun, is that the Oilers' defense finally deciding we need to buckle down and actually play in our own zone? Or do you think that was just the Flames being the Flames?
I mean, I can say it's Oilers' mentality to just lock it down. I feel like in the first half of like first 20-25 games of the season, they were just letting shots in easily, and then they traded away Stuart Skinner. They bought in Jerry. He got injured, and now from the AHL, Connor Ingram comes up. He has been solid the first game. Second game, he looked really solid as well. So I feel like it's the overall team anticipation going on that they need to buckle up and just play solid defensive hockey. But I like maybe it's the Flames also in that like Flames is generally not known for its like high offensive games. So I feel like both ways it can go, like Oilers locking it down defense defensively, and also Flames just kinda struggling to find the back of the net.
Man, it's... And you say it is the Flames struggling. But we've talked about... I've beaten this drum a lot. If the Flames score 4, we do not lose. It is just that struggle of getting above 3 for this team that seems nigh impossible. But another big shout out to another group that I follow on X. Sea of Red Central. They've been on the meme game tonight. They just posted one about 40 minutes ago. It's the Schitt's Creek gif. Well, look at this. And said that's going to be Craig Conroy walking into Don Maloney's office either today or tomorrow. All right, let's head on into overtime. Overtime, where we look through the chat, answer any of your questions, comments, and concerns. If you've got a question, if you've got a comment, if you've got a concern, whether it's why the hell, Conrad, didn't you shave before this broadcast, we'll answer it all. And hey, if you've got a question for Arjun, we don't often get Oilers fans on here because, hey, Avery is a little bit busy up there in Edmonton actually covering these games for the hockey news. So we don't get to have our friends from up in Edmonton very often. But hey, if you're a Graham Mossman fan, formerly of Game On NHL, formerly of Game Over Edmonton, hey, he'll be down in town for the Circle K supporting his new team, the Northern Alberta Extreme. He is going to hate when he sees that. He'll be around for the Circle K Classic. So, hey, tune in, turn up. And, is that a Joey O I see in the chat? Another Circle K legend. I'll answer his question last because I think that's a really good one. Going back all the way to the beginning, honestly found round 2 of the Battle of Alberta to be boring tonight, mainly because the Oilers dominated the whole game. I guess that was kind of the good thing about that first game of the season. It was competitive the whole way through. Obviously, I liked how that game ended a lot more. But yeah, it did kind of feel like, obviously for me and Anand, like we wanted to turn this game off. It wasn't really a game of hockey. I'm sure, Arjun, you felt differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams fought it out, especially in the third period, closer to the end. Like, both teams got physical. And I feel like one guy I want to mention from the Flames is Kevin Ball. He was really in the skin of Manjapani even in these early 15 minutes. He was like pushing him, shoving him, pushing to the board and stuff. That was kind of like a big guy versus a small guy kind of thingy. So I don't know if that's what like Kevin Ball really does often, or I'm not sure, but that was kind of annoying me.
I'd say he's a rough guy, but it's kind of interesting because everyone thinks, oh, Manjapani, it's a former Flame. They just must not have liked each other as teammates. No, they kind of were ships in the nights when Keek came, when Manjapani was gone, off doing his thing in Washington. But, yeah.
You know what they Conrad, if I'm grateful tonight with how the game went, no hat trick for Banjapani, that's one thing maybe I can be a sigh of relief for. I was somewhat expecting at least one or two goals from him. But I think something you can, if you want to take that as a positive, keeping of him off the score sheet,
Well, to be
maybe, yeah.
fair, everyone's been keeping him off the score sheet. He has not been very good as an Oiler. It was one goal in the last 12 games was the stat that was on the broadcast. Talked about Uyghur fairly extensively. Jennings, McKay, oh my, Oilers rule A. As I said, season series at 500. Congratulations. And like, let's be real. Oilers fans, the expectation for you guys this year was Stanley Cup or bust once again. The expectation for this Calgary Flames team is exactly what's happening. We expected it last year. We had a pleasant surprise, the Flames playing absolutely above their heads for a season. But I think the realists and anyone that understands how statistics work understood that was a PDO bender. Like, we had no reason to be as close as we were last year. So what this result is truly what should be expected. Do we want better for the Flames? Of course we do. Do the Oilers probably want to see the Flames not even score that one goal? Of course, it's the Battle of Alberta. But if we look at this as rational hockey fans, this is probably the result that was supposed to happen. Where's the do it for him McKenna graphic that we both have been using? It just didn't fit with having 3 hosts unless I wanted to cover Arjun, which the button was there if I ever needed to remind Arjun what the Flames were playing for. Calgary should be wearing the Blasty jersey next game. I think that depends if you want to continue to lose and actually see this management team say, oh, we're not just 5 points away from a wild card. We're actually really bad and we're not going on that winning streak to get there. Then we retire Blasty for the next 6 months. Let Blasty come back for the celebration of the Dome season next year.
I think Blast is coming next in March only, if I'm not mistaken.
Can we cancel that?
Uh,
Unless we're
I
already
don't know who to.
statistically eliminated? Like, who do I... Who do I have to call? Do I have to get my mom, who's a season ticket holder, to call in and say, no more? Like, is that what I have to do? Is that how we have to get to Murray Edwards? Have the people who are actually lining his pocket talk to him?
Yeah, I don't know who to reach out to cancel Blasty, but yeah.
Yeah, and you Oilers, you can keep wearing your cream color jersey until you have to declare 2 jerseys for the playoffs. And then no more cream jersey. You get the orange and the white. Anyways, McDavid owns the rest. I'll take this beating for tree topper McKenna. 72 is going to look real good on Blasty. KQ saying we have to do better on Saturday. Wolf kept us in there. What does better mean? Does better mean, you know what? Let's just have our lineup change completely so that we can have both John Beecher and Justin Kirkland in the lineup to have a few more people who can throw punches. Who knows? What does that mean to you, Tokay? Lily Zubert had a good comment that I kind of read through about the penalty kill. Hey, even if you have a penalty kill that's operating at 80%, the Oilers' power play is operating at close to 33%. Law of stats and averages said, doesn't matter how good you are on the penalty kill, the Oilers are going to score more than they are. However, 60% is way too high for any team in the NHL. I don't think you're going to be successful when you're at that rate. Don't think I'm rocking anyone's world saying that. Tokay, as always, in the chat, stirring the pot a little bit. Devin Cooley wins this game. Devin Cooley isn't on the statistical bender he was at the start of the year either. Do I think we should play Devin Cooley potentially on the 27th?
Nah.
Oh, interesting. We can have this talk. What do you think? You still think you stay with Wolf coming back on the 27th, eh?
Yeah, he'll get a 5-day break. He can come back. He will want a rebound game. Of course, we know he, even after a loss, sometimes he comes rebound. And then give Cooley, I think, what's in his game after that? I didn't even look at the schedule because I'm doing the holidays in Circle K Classic mode. Give the Cooley the game after the 27th, 29th.
Yeah, the Bruins coming to town, and hey, the Bruins are kind of struggling. They lost today to Montreal.
Yeah, so give Cooley that game.
Give Cooley that game, and then give Wolf the New Year's Eve affair against the Flyers.
Yeah.
Who knows? Arjun, you probably just are saying it doesn't matter who the Flames throw in net. We'll beat both of them with the way we played today.
I mean, yeah, that is true. I feel like that way same, but I feel like, I don't know, recent stretches I have seen like small clips of Flames. I just feel like a tiny bit Cooley is doing better. Tiny bit. Tiny bit. So I feel like if you put Cooley in that, maybe just a little spark for the Flames, maybe. Never know.
And Joey O, as I said, the voice of the Circle K Classic. If you're listening in arena, he's been doing the finals for the last few years. Also has the best shirt and microphone game in the biz. How great is Saturday's rematch going to be? Hate always makes for compelling hockey. It is the one good thing about the Battle of Alberta being what it is right now. It does seem that there is more than just, oh, we're kind of supposed to hate each other because we're provincial rivals, that we had for a lot of the early 2000s. It seems that there is a lot of players on both these teams that simply hate each other. Rasmus, you are not allowed to fight. We need your hands intact so we can trade you in about 3 weeks. Same with you, Blake Coleman, Texas Tiger. No, those gloves are staying on. But it's good to see that there's a little bit of vitriol in this matchup.
Yeah, that is always that fun.
I'm not gonna quite call it India-Pakistan like cricket levels of hating each other, but there's some hate bubbling away. Hey,
Yeah,
I got to pull out a cricket reference with both of you on the show. Like, come on, give me some credit here.
No, you know, in cricket you don't see like full blown out fights or intensity
Unless
is
it's
just
the
a bit of
Ashes and it's Australia and the Brits. But go ahead.
yeah, you only see this bit of chirping here and there, like you don't see the full on blown matches, so I can't really compare, but yeah, there is always the bit of hate in the Oilers and the Flames when they play, definitely.
But Joey O does have a good comment here. Regardless if you cheer for that really, really ugly jersey that's next to me or that really, really pretty red and yellow team, in about 7 weeks, we're going to have a unifying color to cheer for in the red and white of Hockey Canada. If this Connor McDavid comes to play for Canada, it is better for all of us, as Joey O says. I will begrudgingly admit there is about 14 days where I can cheer for Connor McDavid every 2 years. Well, every 4 years, Olympics, I don't really cheer for World Cup of Hockey or whatever the NHL is going to throw it at us. It is nice to be able to cheer for him for that little short period. If the NHLers go, that's still up for debate. But yeah.
Yeah, because of the shut rink. Looking forward to the Olympics regardless, but we'll see if they
Hey,
go or not.
if Calgary can go up to that rink in Olds, I'm talking about the Calgary Canucks, if they can play in that barn in Olds, it's fine. Hopefully, we can cheer on Canada getting through to another golden celebration. Then I can go back to hating Connor McDavid. But for myself and Anand, your usual hosts, Arjun, thank you so much for joining us in the Battle of Alberta. It's so weird to have Unnithans on both sides of me. But yeah, for any of you who want to see myself and Anand, that guy Joey O in the chat, yeah, he's a gosh darn Oilers fan. I always forget that. Head on over to the Circle K Classic after the December 25th. For those of you who celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. Unfortunately, I missed a bunch of games during Hanukkah. For those of you who celebrate that. For any of the other seasonal holidays, we wish you a happy holidays. And most of all, hopefully the Flames bring a better effort for the rematch of the Battle of Alberta, Saturday, December 27th.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everyone. Thank you so much for being a loyal part of this Game Over Network Calgary. Hopefully, we see you again soon.
Yeah, and I guess,
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Merry Christmas.
and potentially Happy New Year. Who knows? Keep an eye peeled to your social media.